Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you to invite me in this very exciting webinar. I will try to speak about this topic, how to start a space startup from scratch. This is my vision, part of my vision, my experience and my work. So the first aspect is why we are here now and what is the new space era. So I started, and later I present very briefly my experience. I started in space 1.0. Now we are in this new version of the space, and there is the technology can be helpful for the sustainable future, but also can fulfill the dream of the humans to have the planetary exploration. So the logic is that for a long time, this market was for large companies. Now, in the last 5 or more years, is open to new ideas from a startup or innovators that can become global unicorns. I will have a couple of examples later. So the new space is focused on the acceleration of the product cycle. In the past, to create, design, and satellite, typically you have from 3, 5, 10 years. Now you can start and launch the satellite just in 6 or 9 months. So we have this lower cost, a lot of commercial available technologies, and this incremental development. So the logic is that this is a sentence not mine, but of Mark Anderson, that is one of the father of the startup ecosystem, that is, it has never been easier to start. Now it's very simple to start, to create a startup, to create a company, but never has been harder to scale, because the vision of a space startup, as other startup, is to scale and scale fast, to acquire fast customer, to take a position on the market. I connect with other sentences always for Anderson. So there is a big reform in the economy, and the winning enterprise in next 20 years probably will be 10 or 100 times bigger than Google or Facebook. And my vision among one of these protagonists of the future, there is a company that is just founded or is still in the conception phase. So the vision, the future is so easy, and we don't know what will happen in the future and the technology. So there is a space for everyone. Just a couple of words about me. I am not here to teach, because I'm not a teacher, but to share my experience. I had, as I said, I am a dinosaur of the space, because I started in this market in 1999, is another era of the space. And I had experience with different startups and projects, and also as mentor, coach. So just briefing, a lot of experience. In 1999, I worked in the first multiplexing on board of the satellite. That is a real innovation for satellite communication. I founded a sales company that worked for a broadband solution over satellite too. So we invented Zoom before Zoom. This company was closed because was created not in the right time. Then I moved to another project, how to offer broadband connection on board of the vessel. I invented a system that can use 2 satellite technology. One is Inmarsat, that is like an ESDN connection. The other one is the satellite TV of the boat. With this combination, we create the first ADSL for satellite, and this project was sold to Telecom Italia. Then I worked on other projects. I worked on Cosmos Skymet, that is the Italian constellation of remote sensing. I founded the company in maritime sector, sold in 2014. And now I am the CEO of a space startup in downstream sector, Latitude 40. We are founded by Techstars. And I am also the CFO of another startup that is try to offer new solution for space logistic company, Sferatos, that is based in Luxembourg. So this is my experience, different experience. I try to give you a valuable contribution to your startups, your business projects. What I learned in this long period? First of all, the idea is not the very important part of the startup. The most important part are the execution, how I transform the idea in money. I can catch customers, catch users around the idea. Also, the technology is not so important because a very good technology does not guarantee the success of the company. A great team is a necessary, fundamental part of the startup. A startupper is not a sole trader, but is a team that tries to find a new business model. Other aspect is money is not enough to scale quickly. So the finance part of the startup, of the business, is really important. And the logic of why now. I found it an interesting startup in the startup that I NetStream, the possibility to offer video communication in 2002 is very new, but probably it's too early for the company. Zoom dominating the market after 10 years or 15 years. So the part important is to find the right moment to enter in the market when there is a demand or a problem. I don't wrote here, but it's clear that a startup can have success when there is a problem to solve. So when you design your startup or designing your startup, please concentrate on the problem. What is the problem that you are solving, and who has this problem? Because if you have the capability to understand the problem and who has the problem, you are a step ahead in the success of your startup. A space startup is a startup. So in the space startup, you can apply all the topic of the traditional lean startup movement of agile startup. Two aspects. One is that the startup is not a smaller version of the company. As Eric Ries, that is another father of the startup ecosystem, create this concept that is a startup is an organization, sometimes temporary organization, because one of the vision of startup is the exit. Some investor will ask you before to close an investment, what is your exit strategy? Because this is fundamental. And the logic is to find a repeatable and scalable business model. So this is the core mission of the startup. So to find, have always in your mind a repeatable, so a model that can work also without any effort. The digital model is the traditional. Facebook is a model of repeatable and activity that company can use, your customer can use every day. So two aspects. The failure is part of the startup journey. So in fail is like a permanent thing in a company. If you see the US way of thinking, especially in the Valley, the failure is a pass, a mandatory passage in the creation of a unicorn. So all the experience of the startup, all the unicorn that you see in the market, probably they can tell you an experience of failure. So don't scare about the failure. The important is to fail fast, try to fail as soon as possible, because if you fail, you learn your market and you can take the countermeasures. Oh, sorry, I stopped my slide. But what is a business model? This is really important. This is the concept. I try to summarize here what is a business model. Oh, sorry. So it's the way how you create, deliver, and captures value. So in a very simple way, how you will make money with your idea, with your company, with your startup. So part of this searching of money is, because it's clear, we are not an onlus, we are not, the vision, the final vision is to create profit and to sell the company to someone else or to go public. It's important to have a clear vision of the product, a clear vision that is a long-term vision. When you design your startup, you need to let me see, to have a very vision for long term, 12, 10 years, thinking also for the future. And the second one, the business model, you need to set up a series of hypotheses that you need to test, you need to validate for the market. So who are the customer, how I can reach them, digital strategy, traditional strategy, what is the price, what is the market, are all aspects that you need to validate day by day in your activity. So the part I saw that you need to find the problem, and the other aspect is how you can differentiate between the existing, because it's clear if there is a problem, probably there is another company that is trying to solve the problem, that already solved the problem or is trying to solve. It is important to create this differentiation, because it's something that your investor will ask you how you are different. If you are in the, let me say, in the downstream sector of the Earth observation, they can ask you, what is your difference respect to Ursa Space, Orbital Insight, REDZATEC? If you are in the satellite integration, they can say, yes, but there is already, let me say, Endurosat that is doing this business. What is your differentiation respect to Endurosat? Or if you are a logistic transportation company, the Orbit or Momentus at the moment are the two leaders of the market. What is your differentiation? I am working with one of startup that probably is here on the launching facilities. They are designing the launcher, and one of the topic of our meetings are how you can differentiate. The logic in this case, I cannot say, but is a differentiation that is not technical, but of more of the system. So the logic, this is just interesting. Seraphim's Capital, I suggest you to follow Seraphim on LinkedIn, on the website, because he's the most important space investor in Europe. They just yesterday published the post where they invest around, in the last couple of months, they invested 100 million in the most important startup in the ecosystem, in space ecosystem. The logic is, no, you need to know your market to create a successful space startup. And the question is, can you offering something of better than any one of these startups in this map? I think yes, because probably you can be faster to acquire new customer, or more smart to identify a problem that they at the moment are not addressing. So the logic is, try to understand how your competitors, there is no business with no competitors. Sometimes I see a lot of company, a lot of project, where is written that I am the only one that I do this business. As the question is, if you are the only one, why? Probably there is no market. So the logic, when you present your startup, present your competitors and try to differentiate you from the competitors. So this is a list of, for example, the Vision, Virgin Galactic. So they opened the space tourism. Planet, in the Earth observation data, they offer data with shorter revisity in time than traditional government-based technology. Astrocast is interesting European startup. They offer solution for IoT, that's very cheap IoT technology from satellite. Open Cosmos, so you can reduce the total cost of your CubeSat mission. Or Endurosat, for example, I already named this company. They offer a modular platform to create a spacecraft. Or Nanorax, so for example, the capability to validate very quickly your business model, integrating payload in space using the International Space Station. So this is some of the why these companies are different, because they create a new market around the problem. I took a couple of slides. I like the Orbit because I know Luca Rossettini. He believed in this space logistic market since 2011. So he spent 10 years to validate and to consolidate his idea of business. Now, probably you know that the Orbit is the first Italian unicorn. They will be public via SPAC in the next few months, and they reached an evaluation of more than 1.2 billion, the same of Spire. So the logic is, they created a vision of the new product. They create a new market around the problem. And what is the problem? So when they started with this idea of they anticipated the market of the small satellite. And so they understood that there is a bottleneck in the space, how to put a satellite in the right position orbit. And so this is they understood very well the value chain. And they offer a solution of space logistic transportation. So is the DHL of the space. So you can move a satellite inside another satellite. They have like a sat carrier. So they integrate a large satellite that contains 3, 4, 6 satellites, and this satellite carrier has propulsion, and so they can move in different orbital position, and can release satellite. It's like the last mile delivery of the satellite. So the launcher, SpaceX, offer the backbone from the Earth to the space, and the orbit offer the last mile delivery. It's like the model, if you think, is the same of the DHL, where I use the airplane to move some goods from US to Rome, but then there is a little van that moves the single object from the Rome airport to each single address. This is really innovative. They had a lot of success because they can demonstrate that there is saving in time and in money to do this. So this is a fantastic vision for me. The second part of the business model is what I say, the business hypothesis. So the logic of startup is that you cannot know everything in the starting at the scratch. So you create some hypothesis. So who is my customer? So customer in the case of the orbit is other satellite companies that are launching satellite, or company that need to validate some payload in space. But this is an hypothesis created in the lab, created in the office. And there is another fantastic sentence that say that no business model can survive at the impact with the market, because the business model, the traditional business model canvas, is something that change probably every day, every week. When you meet customer, you change the business model canvas. When we meet supplier, when we analyze better competitors. So the important also in space, for a space business model, is to validate the hypothesis, to discover day by day a piece of the puzzle. It's like a puzzle. Like say, the create a startup is a puzzle. You have a lot of pieces on the table, and you need to discover how to attach one piece with another piece. You know the final picture, but you don't know how to reach the final picture. So this is understand the product, talk to the customer, and show as much a minimum viable product. I have some couple of slides around the minimum viable product that has some specificity, some particularity in space. So this is I will share with you the presentation, but this is a couple of business model. In business model, you see the picture of your company in a deck, in a canvas. So you have all the elements of your company. And as I said, you need to identify, probably with different color, the hypotheses that are not validated, so are just hypotheses, and the hypotheses that are validated, that you receive the feedback from the market in terms of interested customer segment. In this case, you have commercial customer, application developer. So the logic is also to use the lateral thinking in the identification of the customer, or how to reach the customer. The same for SpaceX. This is an interpretation of the SpaceX, but is how to put the sticks on the stickers on the table. But this is important. The MVP, the minimum viable product, is a part of the startup journey. You need to have a product that has some core function and not the perfection. So it's just to show, to validate if the product can have a market. If you have a digital platform, if you are creating an e-commerce platform, a social dating app, it's very easy to create an MVP. Probably in the space, in particular, if you are in downstream, in upstream or in midstream, is more complex, because you need to create something of physics, something that costs a lot of money. But you can have some plan B, some alternative. So, for example, I take here just a couple of ideas that I imagine. So if you are a downstream company, a company that uses Earth observation images to create analytics, Probably this could be very simple. You can create a fake portal, a portal with very static images where you can see your elaboration. So it's very similar to a digital product. This is the simplest. If you are in the ground to satellite communication, this is more complex. You need to have, but you can have a simulator. Sometimes there are a lot of simulator of satellite, of orbit, of protocols. So you can simulate between two PC how to communicate from the ground station to the space. Or if you are creating a physical product, a satellite, you can have a 3D animation. Or the other aspect, and this is the case of Esperatos, the company I am in as a co-founder, we are creating a small scale of the satellite, a small scale of the dispenser. So using 3D printing that now is very simple, we are trying to demonstrate the mechanism in a lab, in a demo, how we can release the satellite, all the electronic and all the mechanical aspects related to the satellite. It's clear that the next step is to secure the funding to deploy the first version of the product. But also a video could be an idea. Dropbox raised the first part of the money just with a video, because Dropbox has a very complex infrastructure. But also Dropbox, some years ago, was a startup like you, like me. They created the business around an idea. And so how to acquire money just with a video, because it's impossible to demonstrate with an MVP the minimum viable product of Dropbox. So this is also on this, try to be open, try to, the MVP is to demonstrate to your customer, to your investor, to your partner, what you have in mind to do. And the logic is this, as I said, the idea is not the value proposition of your startup. So you can share your idea, because the value of a startup is not the idea. You can copy the idea, but you cannot copy the execution. You cannot copy your vision. Someone, probably if a lot of other companies created a social network like Facebook, but no one created the success of Facebook, because around the idea to connect people in a digital way, that is a very simple concept. There is the execution, the customer acquisition, the validation. So the idea is not the secret of your company. The secret is how you transform the idea in business. So I say that why the MVP? So the MVP give you the capability to demonstrate to investor that you have customer, because with MVP you can obtain letter of intent, possible agreement. You can demonstrate that you are addressing a real problem. You are addressing the need of your customer. Also, if you can change the product several times in the journey. The showing of the MVP, the presentation of MVP, the landing part of the MVP could be also an opportunity for promotion, your marketing, the word of mouth. Someone can see, can say, okay, I saw this startup is in a very initial stage, probably can be useful for to also investor can create this word of mouth. And finally, because customer investor would like to see physical product, real product. As I say, it's important, the traction. The traction probably is very difficult in the space sector to have the right traction as in a traditional B2C or B2B market. But it's important for an investor. The traction is not because the investor does not believe in your company, but the investor is to say to give to the investor the vision that you are capable to connect with the customer, to close and obtain a signature from a customer on a piece of paper. So in this moment, it's important. The traction is sometimes a lot of companies receive the money not because they have a fantastic idea, but they are executing this idea with a fantastic traction. They can demonstrate 10, 15 letter of interest of interesting customer or also big customers. This is important because investor, without money, is impossible to do startup. This is, I don't believe that is possible to create a startup without money. To scale, to fail, to validate, you need a lot of money. So you need to have several rounds of investment to become a unicorn. And or you are rich and you don't need to have a startup. If you are rich, if you are son of a Russian oligarch, you don't need to create a startup. It's just a way to use the spare time. But we are not rich here. We are people that try to work to create a future. And you need money of investor. Now there are a lot of money in the market. Probably an amount of money never present in the space market. You need to have the capability to catch this money, to take this money, to convince investor that you are the unicorn of the future. So you need to present yourself to the investor as the next unicorn in this market. Another vision, and is connected to what I just say, is that you need to work for an exponential growth. The startup, an investor never a company, an investor, venture capital never invest in a company with a linear growth that move from 100,000 euro to 1 million in 5 years. This is not really interesting for an investor. This is a traditional business that does not need any injection of money, but an investor is interested on an exponential growth. And this is also for startup. It's clear that here I combine two aspects. So how the failure. So the two main aspects of failure is no market needs and run out of cash. But the logic is of exponential companies that your business model need to be exponential and sustainable. So you need to demonstrate in your business plan that when you will be fully operational, you will make a lot of profit, a lot of cash. The investor is interested in cash because there is a method to evaluate, to give the pre-money, so the value of your money, of your company before the investment. At the moment, there are different tools. One could be the discounted cash flow. I try to create the net value of the cash flow of the money that you can generate in the future. So I need to have a plan that is sustainable, that generates a lot of money. The other aspect is the capability to repeat the business model. So you don't need to grow with more investment, but you need to find what is the engine of growth, something that can be repeat a lot of times, and the exponentiality. This is the logic of the exponentiality. This is what we are more or less, a lot of company stop there. The logic is the perseverance in the startup is important, and you start to scale when you find the product market fit. So there is a term in the learn startup approach that is the pivoting. So sometimes you need to adjust your target, adjust your vision, because your market is asking that. Probably you are trying to sell a red product, but red is not the favorite color of your customer. So you need to change the product in yellow, green. This is an example of pivoting. Or you start your product like a cube, but your customer don't like the cube, but will like the ball. This is an example. When you find the product market fit, and so your product solve a problem with the market, you can start to scale, and the scale is fast. Is a US investor says that a company to scale needs to grow 300 or 400% year on year. This is in digital, but also in space you can reach this vision. Why the exponentiality in business? So big market. If you have a big market, you can, if your market is 5 billion of USD, and the trend is to move to 10 billion. If you take the 1% of this market, you can scale very fast. If you are addressing a market of 500 million, probably no one could be interesting, because 500 million probably cannot give you this scalability. The exponentiality is important because this is a synonymous of a rapid market adoption. This means that you found this product market fit, and a lot of customers can repeat the buying. So if I imagine the logic, if I am in the new onboard computing, imagine that there is a company that is trying to create the new onboard processing unit using COTS. So how to adapt the onboard computing probably is one of the piece that has a higher cost because it's the heart of the satellite. If this company can demonstrate that with COTS it's possible to create an onboard computing to control the satellite, they can, and the number of the satellite is that you will reach in next year are planning to will be launched 70,000 new satellites in space. Imagine that if you can take the 1% per year of this market, you will sell a lot of onboarding computing. And the exponentiality, and so the rapid adoption is the disruption of the market. There are a lot of products that disrupt the market. SpaceX is an example. SpaceX disrupted the market of the launchers because they simplify the product, reuse the part of the structure, so can reduce the cost. They have a rapid adoption, so they can now launch every month, respect to traditional Ariane launcher or Vega that need to be that have an elapsed time, because every time I need to start from scratch to create the launcher. So this is a disruption. I added something that I can of new that give me the capability to reuse the satellite, the part of the launcher a lot of times in this. So this is Spire. Probably you know Spire. Spire disrupted the market because they invented these satellites that can collect the information using VHF band. So they can, all the vessel have an appliance that is named AES, Automatic Identification System. They can collect, normally these are terrestrial VHF. They invented this way to collect satellite VHF. This created big demand because there is from coast to coast, if you move from from Europe to US, you have for a long time, you don't know where is the vessel, or you need to spend money to send the position. They disrupted this market and then created the other market around this. You can see from 2017, $2 million in revenue, 2021, 71 million, and in 2022, more than 1 million. And if you see here, the adoption, the scaling of Spire, they scaled faster than company like Shopify, like Twilio. Probably only Slack had an adoption more quick, more fast than Spire. So this is important. Also in space, you can have the same scalability and same exponentiality of digital business. So this is another example, Astrocast. This is the initial idea of the company. They launched this company with 2017 with an ESA-founded project. I founded this information on the ESA portal. So the logic is this logic to have a small radio, very similar to Spire. They use a technology that in sometimes is similar to Spire, but with a different appliance. Not an I collect data from an existing device like the AES, but I create a new device for IoT in agriculture, for example, that is like a chip, like the GSM modem that you have. And I can collect this data and give you the capability. So in Africa, or in all the places where there is not enough connection, I have the solution, the right solution. So low cost, L-band, bidirectional, so I can also configure the apparatus, and low power, because low power is a requirement in the IoT sector. And they identified these three segments. So remote monitoring, predictive maintenance, geolocation service in cost-effective manner. So a huge demand of these services. Now the alternative is only the GSM. I don't know, probably here I have, okay. This is the global cellular coverage on the right part of the document. And you can see what is the part of the world that is not covered, area of the world not covered by a 2G connection, almost 2G connection. So what is the market? This technology is disruptive, yes, because I can use the technology to locate, for example, my machine in a mines in the Africa, or my agriculture product, my tractor in Russia. So this is what my idea of exponential. So also their vision. They imagine to sell 30 million of units, and this is the 25% of the market, satellite IoT in 2025. So they are really ambitious, and they can move from 1 million or less to 150 million in 2025. So this is scalable. An investor can put money in this company because can have 10 or 12 times the return. I am quite at the end of this model. Then I opened the discussion. So imagine that you cannot have one round. So each round you increase your pre-money, the value of your company. And so this that you give less shares. The logic is also this an important part. I talked with a lot of company entrepreneurs. They say, okay, but I don't like to give the majority of my company to another company, to an investor. I said, okay, it's better to have the 99% of a company that has a value of 1 million, or to have the 1% of a company that is a unicorn. If you invested, I just made a very simple calculation. If you invested 50,000 euro to acquire the 10% of the orbit in very really initial stage, now you can, when the public company will be public, you can sell shares for 120 million. And the owner of the company has a value of the company enormous. If he can sell the company and stop to work for the life. So this is my last slide. I hope that this content are interesting for you. I don't know the time. I lost my, probably we are longer than the...
Yes, Gaetano, you are, but we didn't want to interrupt you because it was so enthusiastic. But if you can wrap up, then we can follow up with the questions, because we have several questions here.
Yeah, the logic is this. The startup is a vision. It's the vision of your life. This is, and you need to be totally committed on the success of your startup, and you need to have the obsession for the success. This is the last conclusion of my part, and I am happy. Sorry that I did not read the chat, but was so involved in this discussion. I don't know if there is any question.
Yes, we have a lot of them.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to follow up, Cristiana. Do you want to read the questions, or should I?
I can read it. So the first question is from Mario, and is our non-technical, non-IT, non-space guy could found a space startup, any place, physical, online, social platforms, to meet and team up with others who have ideas, background, and expertise in the space field to launch a startup?
First of all, in the Space Hub network probably is the right place now where it's possible to find startup, but there are a lot of sites. On the one is Space Bandits, the other one is Space Hub network, that is a US list of all the startups. So you can search space startup, and you can have a lot of information.
Okay, then we have also here Konstantinos that has a question of what is the best funding strategy to reach a low resolution embedded HW prototype for a space startup upstream? So very specific.
Probably in this case, you need, the logic is to have the prototype of the optical of the product in not space qualified to demonstrate, and then this to demonstrate to the investor that you have the capability to create the product. The logic of this project is that you need to validate it. You need a space validation, you need money. So small prototype also with Arduino, and then you try to scale.
The other question is So let me just check.
The
Constantinos also.
Yes. What are the basic funded channels, instruments within Europe?
I think in Europe there are, one is ESA. ESA at the moment has a lot of channel of funding. Now, as a SunHub network, we created also a position paper to try to integrate the funding strategy. One is ESA. You can register on ESA portal and see how to do business with ESA. There are a lot of call also for startup. For example, there is the BIC, the Business Incubation Center, in different country in Europe. Now there is opening the call for Turin, always open call. ESA has also specific program. For example, there is Incubed, that is one program for startup that already have an MVP or TRL 5-6, they can finance you. And the other one is the AC Accelerator. There are two largest programs. Then there are a lot of national fund, but probably the two aspects is, one is ESA, one is EU, the EUSPA, that is the agency of European Union for space, and the other one is AC Accelerator. I can send you a list of these.
Okay, then we have one from just a moment here, and it's from Daniel Riske, and he said, I attended a similar presentation by the House of Entrepreneurship here in Luxembourg. There, they focus on how to set up a normal company. My question is, the generic rules are also applied for space startups, right? Mean to get business permit, get VAT number, get no criminal activity certification, no previous bankruptcy certification.
Yeah, this is clear. To create the startup is a company that could be an LTD, LLC, any SARL in Luxembourg. You need to have the minimum requirement to run a startup. So this is mandatory requirement. So there is no difference in the space startup. You need to have all the elements that give you the capability to run a company in the national organization. So probably there are different level of compliance, but probably in Europe are more or less the same. You need to have, this is a minimum requirement that is not part of a startup. This is a minimum requirement to run a company.
We have another question from George. That is, should startups consider IP issues before presenting their MVP to potential investors and customers?
Yeah, on this we can open a discussion of ours. Investors like patents, but patents is not the exact way to secure your technology, your idea, because patent, a lot of information open to everyone. So you can disclose part of the paper, of the patent, but you open your idea to others. So the logic is yes or no, depend on what they are doing. Probably if you are inventing something of completely new, the launcher of the future, probably if you patent it, you can open the idea to other people. If you have a specific technology. In any case, a patent is, the IP could be a patent or industrial secret. So when you present a company, you can see, okay, at the moment I am running with industrial secrets because I don't like to disclose the innovation to the world. But when I will start, I will protect the company with the patent. Also because the protection of the patent is not real, in particular in the hardware. Because in Europe, it's impossible to register as a patent a software. For the hardware, yes, but I can change a small part and I can represent a patent. So,
okay. Thank you, Gaetano. Now we cannot take more questions for now, but we can always have them addressed to us. But we still have here two, if you want to answer them still. And if anyone else has further questions, then we can direct it to you because we're running a bit of time. So Deepak has a question, how value the company at pressed level? How to value the company at pressed level?
The logic in this case, there is no, in the pre-seed, normally you have a standard evaluation that is from 1 to 3 million. Typical is, for example, Techstars, that is the largest accelerator in the world, as a standard evaluation of the company. They give you 120,000 euro at an evaluation of 3 million. The evaluation, the pre-money, is more important from the seed, from stage 2, stage 3. In the first stage, when you are in pre-seed, probably the 3 million is the maximum. Probably if you are extremely innovative, you can ask for 5 million.
Okay, thank you. So now I'll ask you your best skills of summarization. That's the last question, please. It's, do you have any advice on how to pace the growth of a team, engineering, business, and therefore expertise and competence in a startup versus the planned development growth of a technical product? Is it better to hire exclusively by project phase, or when new funds come in, reactive, or to have a long-term strategy, proactive?
This is
really long question.
Yeah, a long question, a long time to answer. The logic is the team is, you need to have a core team. First of all, the startup needs to play around the core team of need, and the team is not need to be balanced. So you need to have technical skill, business skill, strategy skill. So typically you need to create the co-founding team. For me, the core team is the co-founding team, the group of people that are working together to search the business model. This team needs to be balanced between not too technical, not too business. Then you can hire people around this team. And there is a fantastic way also to hire very high skilled people. I suggest you to use the FAST agreement. The FAST agreement is an agreement founded by Founder Institute, and is a light work for equity model. So you can hire skilled people and say, okay, I give you a commitment of 5, 10, you can define number of hours per week. I will not pay you, but with this FAST agreement, I will issue share for you. Different share, you can negotiate the round. When you have money, you need to scale. The part of the team, an investor, if you go to the stage 3, so you are in a Series A, and you are only the co-founder team, probably an investor will not believe in you, because part of the life of the company is also to create social benefits, create job around the company. This is the social mission of the entrepreneur. You cannot say, okay, we will do all things in our co-founding team, we will scale and we take 100 million and we go to live to Maldives. This is part of my life. The entrepreneur is a social player. You need to create benefit for the place where you live, for the people that live, to attract new people. So the logic, the team, you need, when you have money, you need to scale very fast. The logic of the money, you need to burn cash. So don't have the scale to be run out of the cash. You need, so if you have 100,000 in your bank and are stopped in your bank and you don't use this money to hire people, this is waste of money. Probably when you have 100,000 100,000 euro in the bank is the right way to start to hire the first employee of the company.
Great message, Gaetano. The entrepreneur is contributing also to society. That's a very important message, I would say. So I would like to thank you for your participation, your enthusiasm.
Sorry for long presentation, but I'd like to transfer a lot of concept and I lose the time. Sorry.
No, that was great.
I'm not a presenter that can, so.
And no for problem. Sure, everyone was enthusiastic also to know that through Sun Project, they can access your knowledge, another pool of mentors, and know more. So I'll pass now the word to Inga, so you can know how can you be part of this project and access also this information through Gaetano and other mentors. Inga?
Yes, thank you so much, Cristiana and Lina, for your introduction. So hello, everyone. My name is Inga. I'm an innovation consultant from Startup Division, and I would like to present for you today the opportunities that Sun can offer to you. I hope you can see my screen, please.
Yes, we can.
Yes, great. Sounds great. Anyways, so just to briefly present you what SUN project or Space Apps Project Network is about. SUN aims to increase the commercialization of space-enabled solutions and growth of European startups and scale-ups. So we are here gathered all together, 7 consortium partners in total from Civita, Startup Division, AccessNav, Brimatech, F-Success, Science Park Grads, and Pulsa to work together on this project, as we realized that currently in the space industry, startups need even more support than the currently existing support has to offer. So we do realize that there is currently an existing support network for space startups. However, not all the startups might have already reached the required level to apply. Also, every single startup has individual needs, and not all of these needs are covered in the existing initiatives. And for some of the new businesses entering the space industry, this industry might be a really unknown area that they would like to discover. So here, SUN comes into the picture. So our main objective is to build bridges between the existing support initiatives. So we aim to fill in the gaps between the existing initiatives by matching startups with suitable support organizations. We organize events to talk about existing opportunities in the space industry. So basically the events like this, webinars, hackathons, roadshows, and besides this, we also provide individually tailored one-on-one mentorship program support. And now I would like to go a bit deeper into this and present you the opportunities, the services that Space Apps Network has to offer. So we offer 3 types of programs. The first one is the pre-incubation program. We also have pre-acceleration and post-acceleration programs. And these all programs are dedicated to different maturity levels of businesses. So for the early stage startups, for entrepreneurs and startups, we have a pre-incubation program, which can provide you 12 hours of individual mentorship. We aim to select in total 40 entrepreneurs and startups for this program. And the main focus of this program is to help you prototyping your minimum viable product, validating your product and market fit, and validating your revenue model. Besides this, I'm personally responsible for the pre-acceleration program. So for this program, we aim to support 30 entrepreneurs and startups and by providing 24 hours of individual support. And the main focus of this program is prototyping the high fidelity and minimum viable product and validating value delivery. So for the most advanced of you, we also have this post-acceleration program, which provides 24 hours of individual support. And for this program, we aim to select and support 10 startups and scale-ups. So this is the program for the most advanced of you, as I have mentioned. And the focus here is to focus on investment attraction, identification, and validation of metrics that might lead to A-class investment or seed investment. So this is our offering. These are our programs. So if you're looking forward to further develop your idea and concept, if you want to improve your investment readiness, apply to other space programs, and you're not ready prepared to do that, but you would need help from our side, for example, to apply to ESA incubation or any other various accelerators. If you want to be matched with potential investors and clients and looking forward to attract further investment, you're in the right place. The universe is calling. We have an open call running up until the 14th of April, 5 p.m. Central European time to be exact. So we can offer you free programs, the choice of free programs in total, as I have already covered them. We have a pool of over 70 of existing experts and mentors who could help you out. So Gaetano was a great example of this, of the knowledge you can get from our mentors. And we are offering from 12 to 24 hours of support in total. So if you're interested in this opportunity, if you're interested to apply to the Space Apps Networks program, let's connect. I hope that Elena and Christiana can share the application form link in the chat with you. But if you're interested to hear more about it, let's connect. You can reach me by email. And yeah, we hope to see you in the program. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to cover them now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Inga. We didn't preview questions, but anyway, they can be made as long as the Zoom doesn't crash. Meanwhile, it seems great because you're a bit over time, but that's good news. That means that everyone was very interesting and enthusiastic about our program and our speakers, what he had to share with us. Thank you very much, Gaetano, once more. Inga also. And now I see that Christiana, my colleague, shared already the link for the application. And in case you don't have any other questions, we will close our session here. Remember that we have a cycle of webinars that hopefully will be as interesting as this one. So keep following us in the social media, and then you will know how to apply to all the following webinars. Thank you very much to all, and have a great day and a good weekend.